Okay, so here's an example. If we go into setup and there's a question around what is this curve, what are these for? Pad sensitivity, pad gain, etc. Okay, what this is when you hit a pad on the push, get a thing going here. When you hit a pad, depending on how hard you hit it, you get, volume, velocity. Things can be modulated by how hard you hit that thing, how hard you hit the pad. It's called velocity. It goes from 0 to 127. And what this line is hitting a pad very softly, barely brushing it, is down here. Whacking the shit out of it is up here at this end. And that line, the curve, is what velocity should we send if you brush it lightly or if you whack it really hard. The knobs allow you to change the curve. So if you're playing a piano and your pad sensitivity is low, depending on how hard you hit it, you're either going to get low velocity notes or high velocity notes, soft ones or loud ones. It depends entirely on you, though. Do you have heavy hands? Do you like to really whack the pads when you play it? Or do you just brush it? Right? And you can set how sensitive it is. Right? If you want it to be a little bit more. I'm playing it pretty lightly there. If I play it about the same. Right? But if you want it to be full volume, and I'm barely touching them. That's pad sensitivity. Pad gain it affects the lower end of the curve. It basically makes the softer notes a little bit louder and makes the louder notes, leaves them pretty much where they are. So you could crank up the gain or bring the gain way down. It just depends on where you want, based on how you play, what you want it to sound like. And then pad dynamics is you can change the curve to say, if you turn it all the way to 0, what it does is it'll take a broader range of your presses and sort of leave it in the middle ground. But if you crank it up, it's basically going to say, I'm going to keep your soft notes a little even softer, and I'm going to make your medium to higher notes much harder. It's like it's decreasing the dynamic range. It's forcing it to either be very soft or very loud. It's generally good to keep the line kind of flat. This is for your average player, right? Keep your gain somewhere where you feel you can get enough volume out of a basic press without having to pound the hell out of the pads. If you like to pound the hell out of the pads, if you're a finger drummer that wants to be John Bonham or something, fine. Turn the pad sensitivity down. But if you want to play, if you want things to be louder, you find that you're playing, you think you're hitting the pads just fine, but it's coming through kind of soft. Turn the pad sensitivity up, and you have to play with it, and it's different for every person. So now I've got a piano patch loaded that's very responsive to pad sensitivity. So when I play it lightly, it comes through very quietly. But if you load a synth or something, say I've got an analog loaded here, analog will respond to velocity, right? The amp envelope, you can set it to envelope response to velocity. I'm pressing very lightly, and it's full volume because the envelope response to velocity is 0. But as you turn this up, let's say I make this 8, now it's going to be very sensitive. When I press lightly, it's going to be quiet. And when I press hard, it's going to be loud. So depending on the sample or the synth patch that you're using, the velocity can change, but you can tweak it inside the things, inside the instruments, usually. Just about every synth, VST or, audio unit synth I've ever seen, certainly all the ones from Ableton, all the, big name ones, they all have some setting in their patch to allow you to set how they respond to velocity. So you can tweak that stuff too. So if you can't get exactly what you need out of the setup on Ableton's pad sensitivity, just leave it as a flat line and then go tweak it inside your synth patches. I hope that helps.